Hey, Nicole. Hey, Melissa. Hey, Annie. I was gonna try and go live with last night's luck, but unfortunately, no matter how many times I clicked go live on my laptop, it was not showing me as live. It was showing as upcoming. So I couldn't figure it out. But I have just the last bits of the bag left, so I figured I'd just use my phone. I just need to share this really quick. There we go. Well, it's good to know that my phone is at least reliable compared to everything else. I don't know why I had such a stroke of luck yesterday. Oh, you're pulling a late night one, huh? I wanted to finish this today, but it's been a day full of appointments and all that fun stuff, so I didn't get to sew anything until right now. Down. Make sure I trim these evenly. Okay. I am tired, so I'm not planning on staying up late past this. I just want to go upstairs and curl up with an audiobook. I was planning on doing my nails, but I don't think I have enough energy for that. I forgot to line this up on the other side with the little bit there. So pull that down. So how is everybody doing? You guys just relaxing? Just hanging out? Has it? I know mine has. Well, I promise I'm not going to keep you guys for 4.5 hours this time. It's been a little bit since I've made one, since I've been focusing on the new pattern. And I forgot, with all of the upgrades and updates that I've done, just how long it is. Definitely could have done the sanctuary total a lot faster. But I guess people wanted to see this one. Which is understandable. This is my most popular pattern. It's my biggest seller, especially when it comes to custom requests. The top 2 bags that people always request are the Narcissist and the Bat Company. And I know that people who've purchased the pattern for both bags find them rather intimidating. I don't think they're intimidating so much. Like, they're not hard patterns, but they are... This one's time consuming. And the other one just seems like it might be daunting because it's got batwing flaps and it's not just a standard square rounded flap like most people are used to. But both are actually really easy. So I don't mind showing it. I'm gonna have to do a new tutorial video soon when I am done with this and when the new pattern goes to the testers. I'm just gonna sew like 1 or 2 non-written by me bags just to kind of get the sojo back and get the blood pumping, change it up for something a little bit different, and then jump back into it. Yeah, but I think it's worth it because if you compare the way that it used to look originally to how it is now, I think it's worth it more with all of the extra bling and all the changes that it's undergone since 2022. What are you looking for?
What the frick is the white cord? What's your cord doing?
What white cord?
You have a cord.
That's plugged into my tower.
Wait, really?
That's internet, so I'm hardwired into the internet. Why are you coming down here complaining?
Because I just see it from a mile away.
Yeah, well, your dad jerry-rigged it because, you know, he's lazy like that. I plan on, like, putting the cord up somewhere so it's not in the way. That's why I tucked it behind everything. That was my 17-year-old. I had connectivity issues because back when my computer crashed, I have Carbonite, which is the company that I go through for computer backup. And once I got my computer back, it was a brand new, fresh hard drive, new installation of Windows 11. So I had to restore all of my files. And when I started the restoration process, it stalled out on one file, and I don't know why. And I figured it probably had something to do with the connectivity issues and how Wi-Fi falls out from time to time. So he wanted to hardwire it. And I said, if it doesn't work, I'm ordering a hard drive with my stuff on it because I want my stuff. Luckily, most of what I need is on separate hard drives that we were able to pull out before sending it off. And I need to trim this down, I believe. Let me double check here. Yep, I need to trim that. But so my husband decided that he would get an Ethernet cord to plug my PC directly into the modem. And it's this big, bright, white cord. So she came down the stairs, and all she sees is this white cord just randomly rolling down into the basement. So that's what she was talking about. I believe I need to trim down this side too. I thought I had pre-prepped everything before I started the live. Oh, that side's... Oh, I already trimmed that side. That's why. Never mind. So since we were talking about Queen of the Damned last night, I ended up listening to the soundtrack today. And now I have corn that's stuck in my head. Not the stuff from Queen of the Damned. I have straight up corn stuck in my head. So I was listening to like 2 or 3 of the corn albums earlier too. Hello, Linda. Nope, not still. Once I listen to it, it goes out of my head, usually. But sometimes if I listen to something, it'll get stuck in my head anyways. So the Queen of the Damned soundtrack is out of my head, but corn is now in my head. Maybe I'll listen to Disturbed or something when I head upstairs for a few minutes before laying down with my book. If I don't, then I'm going to find myself on YouTube pulling up Disturbed videos, which is probably going to drop me into a rabbit hole that I don't want to get into tonight, so maybe I can just pop it on while I clean up the studio before I head out. Yeah, I was hoping to get on earlier, but it's just been a kind of chaotic day today. So, did not get the chance. I mean, honestly, I didn't even get a chance to sit down in my studio until like 4:30. I've just been everywhere else all day. So I've got the tail end of this bobbin to use up. I did manage to check that before I started. Hold still. Oh, I can hear it rattling. Has anybody seen any good movies lately? Looking for some new stuff to watch. Every time I open up Vudu, or I guess it's Fandango now, there's never anything that I want to buy. And I've just basically got TV shows that I've been finishing on Netflix, Prime, and Hulu. That reminds me, I never did finish. I think there was a show that I was watching on Disney Plus. Loki, that's what it was. I never finished Loki. I should look and see if I still have that in my watch history so I can go back to it. Reacher. I don't think I've heard of that one. I've heard of Preacher on Netflix. There's a dude that's got a butthole for a mouth. I couldn't get into it enough to find out the story behind that. What is Reacher about? I'm hoping that there's going to be an influx of really good movies coming soon because I have zero interest in anything that's out now. Except for old stuff. I've been watching some stuff from the 80s and the 90s because I know that they're already good. Is who ex-military? Ah. Oh, there goes the bobbin. I can't watch TV before bed. Keeps my brain moving too much. Then again, listening to audiobooks before bed isn't such a good idea either. Because then I get into that mentality of just one more chapter. And then before I know it, I've finished the entire book and it's 6 a.m. and I have to be doing my son's hair at 7 and getting him to school at 7:30. Well, when the book gets that good, you kind of can't help it, right? Alright, so this is a first. I caught the bottom of the pocket in the bottom of the lining. Which is fine. I mean, you still get the full length of the pocket. It's just not moving around, which actually might not be a bad idea. I think I'm going to stitch this side down too, because I don't have to turn the bag or anything through it, so I'm going to do that. Maybe I might even adjust the instructions to do that, because that would actually be handy. I mean, if you can catch it in that bottom stitching anyways, why not? Yeah, that works perfect. And that just keeps the pocket nice and stiff so it doesn't bunch up. All right. Where's my tape? So I've got to attach the lining to the exterior, and then I think I'm still going to top stitch it on my cylinder arm. So I'll do that when the live ends. And then I also have to do the crossbody strap. And then this will be done. And then I'll probably just set it up for training overnight. Hit it with some heat tomorrow to get it nice and smoothed out. And then it will be done. I gotta check on the other bag too, because that one's been just relaxing for a while. Oh, I forgot to trim these. trim down right where most of the bulk is, just so that when I butterfly this seam open, it doesn't fold over into too much of it. Just lessening the bulk a little bit. I could have trimmed it higher, but lazy. And I think I'm going to go against what I just said and not be lazy, because thinking ahead, debulking these areas is ideal. See if I can pull this up a bit. That's probably a little better. Anybody got any fun plans for the weekend? I get to take my SUV in for an oil change, but I'm going to use it also as an excuse to test drive new vehicles, just because why not? I drive a Honda CR-V, and it's a lease, and they've been asking for me to turn it in early because apparently it's one of the models that everybody loves, and of course they want to try and make more money off of it. So I will be jumping into another lease, but it's either going to happen this weekend while it's getting an oil change like it did the last time, or I'm going to wait out the rest of my lease, which ends in June. And I'm thinking I'm either going to jump into a newer model Pilot or CR-V, or possibly a Pilot. We shall see. Well, do you guys still have snow? I would have thought you guys would have been starting to warm up by now too. Yeah, I don't blame you. You get all your work stuff done, and then by the time you're ready to go home, it's time to relax instead of, well, I don't know. I guess some people prefer to sew to relax. I guess if you're just super drained, it's probably best not to be working a dangerous machine that could tear up your hands if you nod off. Oh, geez. Yeah, the snowstorms can stop now. The last bit of snow that we got luckily did not stick around. And we're completely melted now. But I think I saw there's another day coming up where we might get more snow. And we're supposed to get rain. Yeah, I guess that would make sense. I mean, we all know how much fun sewing mistakes are, right? Accidentally sewing your side panels on upside down, or installing a zipper without a pole. Sometimes I think I accidentally do it on purpose because I enjoy seam ripping. But I know the majority do not enjoy seam ripping. Nope. I gotta stop rearranging my drawers because I can never remember what goes where. Okay, so we're going to unclip this one. Okay. Here we go. Oh, I should probably add a clip on the end of this so it doesn't... Oh, well, I guess it doesn't matter because I'm going to have to open it to add the zipper pull on it anyway. Where's the end of that tape? There it is. Stay. Sometimes I really enjoy drop-in linings. Sometimes I don't. I think switching this bag design to a drop-in lining is beneficial because turning out all of the layers tends to be hard on the hands. Sometimes. I still love the hybrid method, but because I've been working on changing the way that the overall pattern is, I figured I should stay true to it and use the method that I'm telling other people to use. So while sometimes I would love to go back to the hybrid, I've been training myself to use drop-in. And you get to see how nicely it fits in here. And take the time to line it all up. And if you've cut everything correctly, you don't have to worry. Oh, it might help if I pulled the backing off, huh? If you've got everything cut out properly and it all lines up, it's so satisfying. I definitely think drop-in linings are my number 2. Number 1, I think I'm always going to prefer turnout because you have everything perfectly lined up when you do it that way. Whereas anything that's bound is my absolute nemesis, which is literally the only reason why there's binding in the original version of this. Now, this part is the most tricky part, is getting the back lined up, which is why I've got the chalk mark. But I still like to feel around to make sure that everything lines up. Okay, so this one is all ready for top stitching. This is kind of bothering me that the pocket isn't flattening out like it's supposed to. I'm gonna have to hit it with more heat. So this is as far as I'm going tonight on this one. I will do the strap. And then once I'm offline, I will do all of the top stitching and add the lock. Thank you. When I initially wrote the pattern, I believe I had the strap written into the last step, and several of my testers were like, no, you got to do it first. Everybody does the straps first. So what about you? Do you guys do your straps first or last? I don't ever particularly go, or I don't go in a particular order every time. I just kind of do whatever I feel like doing. But I have started putting straps and handles and stuff in the beginning of my patterns since they were so adamant about doing them first. I think it's because a lot of people don't enjoy doing them. So they want to just do it first and get it out of the way. I personally don't care either way, as long as I remember to do it, because, you know, it's easy to get to the end and go, oh sweet, I'm done. Oh crap, I forgot the crossbody. Oh god, yes. If you're cutting off of an 18-inch roll of vinyl, always, always, always cut your straps first, unless you've got multiple rolls. I've learned that one the hard way many times over. Probably that mentality of, I've already done this whole entire bag, I'm ready to be done with it, kind of a thing. And now I have to do this whole strap with all the folding and all that. I wish that somebody would create some kind of a machine attachment or a separate machine that's kind of like, you know, those binding attachments that you can get that will fold the binding. I want something like that that will take a 1-inch or a 2-inch wide piece of, or not a 1-inch, like a whatever size width piece of strap, and then fold it and put it together for you. And it can like top stitch at the end of it. So like if you're one of those people that does the 4-inch fold, it could fold it for you and then top stitch. Same thing with like a 2-inch. That would be my dream machine, is a strap making machine. Leather makers have something similar for at least cutting and skiving their straps, I think, but they don't have to fold everything to hide the backing and the seams, or the backing and the edges. So they're lucky with that. Oh, really? It became habit for me to do the exterior first. And I think that's probably just because everybody else does it first. Or everybody that I've watched on YouTube. But occasionally I will change it up and do the lining first. I think part of the reason, though, why I do the exterior first is because of all of the setup. Like, none of my patterns are basic, so there's a lot of stuff on the outside, and then by the time you get to the inside, it's just adding pockets. And when you've made a few hundred pockets, it's just easy. So I do the hardest parts first. What I think I really want to do when I'm in the mood for is to just sit and sketch. Because there's so many designs that I've started that I need to finish. And it's crazy how excited I get about designing new patterns when I never had any intention of being a pattern maker. Like when I first started sharing pictures of the bag when I first started designing it, I was not expecting anybody to ask for it. But they did. So I blame the community for pushing me into pattern making. But it's cool because it gives me something to focus on. And it's stopped me from buying a gazillion patterns. I probably have about 200 bag patterns that are not mine. And I've probably only made about maybe 20, 25 of them. Maybe a few more. I don't know. I should go through and count them up. Because I know there's some of them that I made back in 2020 that were basically just practice and never made them again. And then there's some that are so old and basic that I revisit them every once in a while. I keep going back to Lola after about 6 months, 10 months or so. Lola and me are not friends. I've never made one that I was happy with, and I think I've made probably about 10 of them. So if I ever attempt it again, if it's not successful, then Lola and I are getting a divorce. Yeah, I think the exterior is the fun part too, because you're getting to do everything that everybody else is going to see, and only the bag owner sees the lining usually. So you get to play with it and have fun. And me, I'm addicted to hardware, so anytime I have any excuse to use hardware, I do, and I often go nuts. I'd love to get a bunch of custom stuff done. I just don't need 5,000 of each piece. Plumbing. It's an interesting reference. So it's like the plumbing of the house and the exterior is the house. The outside of the house that everybody sees. I think Lola, probably the only thing that draws me to it is that it's reminiscent of a bowler bag. And bowler bags are my number one favorite design, but or style rather. I have not found a bowler pattern that I'm completely in love with. Like, I've made the How You Doing bowler several times, and it's nice. Not really the size that I like, not the ideal shape. Can change it up a little bit, but I prefer gusseted bags that you can get side connectors for crossbodies. And on that one, the side seams of the gusset are down way too low. And if you put them on there and then attach a crossbody, the bag flips over. So that one's a no-go. I think the Baronia bowler is actually pretty nice looking. I do make that one from time to time, but again, not my favorite shape. And it comes together kind of weird. And the last time I made one, I sewed the bag, I put the bag bottom and the feet on 90 degrees in the wrong direction because it's just kind of confusing. That would be my husband, who knows that I'm live, messaging me. I'll be done soon. I'll answer you in a bit. I think my 10-year-old is still up. And his bedtime is 8:30. So add all the drips. Drips on everything. Yeah, I absolutely love vintage bags, and I don't get to do a lot of them. I made a Kiss clasp bag, and while I do like it, I want to modify it up quite a bit. I don't know if I'm going to release it as a pattern, but we'll see. I actually have it right here. So this one just sits there getting dusty. I did not have any intention of making it so long or so tall. That was an accident. But I do like the way that it came out. Oh, it's got feet. And then it also came with, the handle came with a chain, a nice thick chain. So I do like this one, but I don't know if I like the shape enough to keep it around. So I want to tweak it a bit. It's a Kiss clasp bag that I drafted quite a while ago, and I just haven't done anything with it. That's the only one that I've made so far. If I redo it, I may turn it into a pattern because it's literally 2 pieces of fabric, and then if you add pockets, that's on you completely. So 2 pieces of fabric, and I think the only reason why I would turn it into a pattern if I do it, is because drafting a Kiss clasp bag is not easy. The math sucks, and trying to figure out the shape isn't as simple as just drawing the shape, adding a seam allowance. I had to watch a few tutorials to try and figure out exactly how it was working or how it was being done. And it seems like several people have different techniques. So there is no single way of doing it. While they're all very similar. Another reason why I haven't been messing with it is because I cannot for the life of me find any of the frames that have the stitching on the inside. So as you can see, it's solid on the inside and the stitching is visible on the outside. I want stitching on the inside. And I can't find them. There are some specialty shops that have purse frames, but I haven't found a design that I like. I'm very picky when it comes to stuff like that. And the more vintage it looks, the better. And it appears that most of these places that sell them get them all from the same spot because they all pretty much look the same. Which is why it would be absolutely amazing to find my own manufacturer to do my own hardware. I do not sell the pattern. Not currently. I only have it in paper form at the moment, which is one that I drew by hand and then cut it out. Wow, that's loud, sorry. I thought I would be done before any more of my alarms go off. The next one goes off at 10:30, so I got 30 minutes, but I'll be done before that. All right, so Annie, do you want the strap to be puffy like this, or do you want me to do some center stitches to thin it out? Because it's a little bit chunky. I didn't add any foam or anything, but it's a little thick. Thank you. Really? Okay, you got it. Well then, maybe might have to pass that on to some of the Canadian shops. Can talk to Amanda and which one Is it My Handmade Space? Is that? I can never remember. No, My Handmade Space is in Massachusetts. So then it's, oh, what is that other one? Hardware. I have not heard of either of those. Emmeline Bags, that's who I was thinking of. They are, I always get them and My Handmade Space mixed up. So my Emmeline Bags is in Canada. Let me see if they have any frames. Okay, so they have both the doctor bag style frames that go inside of the top of the bag, and they have kiss clasp handles, or frames rather. And it looks like they've got 1, 2, 3, 4 styles, 5, 6. They've got some for coin purses. They also have squeeze clasps. So it looks like, oh no, there's a couple more. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they have quite a few actually. So go to Emmeline Bags. In fact, what I could probably do when I do get around to working on it is I can look and see what they have and order something from them, because I know it'll be decent quality, and Canadian sewers will be, bag makers will be able to get a hold of it, as well as US. So that works. Yeah, I can't think of anybody who even has a pattern for that. Maybe I'll have to do a few of them, because I really, really love vintage kiss clasp bags and coin purses. Hiccup. I did see somebody at one point did a coin purse, but they modeled it after the whatchamacallit, those cigarette pouches from like the 70s and the 80s, so that you got a pocket for your lighter and a pocket for your smokes. And then it had a kiss clasp opening. Can't remember who that was, but I think I saw that like in the last year or two. But I haven't seen anybody else with a bag like that. had Bringberry on my radar for a few years, but I have never ordered anything from them because I don't make anything that would need what's, to me, weird hardware. But I guess a lot of the stuff that I'm into would be weird to some people too. I like the big chonky stuff, like extra thick sliders and funky looking hooks. I love all that kind of stuff. All right, let me double check this. Okay. So some of the stitches went really wonky. So I'm just going to install the hardware just because for the video, because, you know, people are here, but I'm going to remake this because I don't like it. And I can cut it down to use for wristlet straps. So this is just for show. Well, it depends on, are you on the 1341 or what kind of machine are you using? Because I typically use the Gross Becker needles, but they're not universal. So on my 1341, I typically use a size 20 needle with the needle type for that machine. But on this machine, I like to use an 18 or a 20. So if you're doing vinyl, I would recommend a 20 on the 1341. And I have been using Gross Becker since I got this machine, which was in 2021, and I've literally broken one needle. One needle. And that was user error. It was not the machine. So those needles are very strong. Yeah, this machine, this is the Juki 8700H. Melissa, I think you said you got the same machine, right? These are, they're beasts. They are workhorses, and they, in my opinion, do no wrong. I have never had a major problem with my machine. One time I did have the motor go out, but I sent it back to Steve at Sewing Gold, and he sent it off to the manufacturer. They fixed it, and he sent it back. I did buy a second motor from him for backup, but that's the machine, and it's the Reliable brand, and it's not a Juki part. So But I'm never getting rid of this machine. I may get rid of my Thor one day if it keeps pissing me off and replace it with a Juki or a Texo. But I would also love to get a 1541S. And if I do get it, it will not replace this machine. This one is never going anywhere. It's just a hole punch. It's just a really cool looking one. And I bought this one because it fits my hand better than my red one. My hands are too small for this one. So, I mean, that's max open comparatively. So this one fits my hand nicely. I'll link it to you when I'm done. Unless anybody else is interested, I can link it in chat. I do not have the one from Lauren, but I had one that was a similar style, and it went dull really fast. So I threw it away. And the only reason why I bought my new one, well, I bought the pink one because my hands are too small for the red one. But when I was going to replace the red one, I ended up upgrading it. So as you can see, this guy's missing one of the tips. I didn't realize that the tips could fall out, and that one's been falling out for over a year. So I went online and I was going to replace it, but then I saw that they actually had an upgrade. And this one, it's got a movable brace on the bottom. So you can use it flat on your surface for stability, and it's not gonna like tip over and hurt your hand. Because if you do that, that would suck. So you've got that for stability. So you can use it one-handed. And it's got a locking pin that I was meaning to put back. So you can lock it into place when you're not using it, and it doesn't take up a ton of extra space. So while this one is still big handled like that one, because you can use it one-handed, it just makes it so much easier. I might still grab another one of the red one just because I've been using it for years and I'm so used to it, but I like my pink one. I've got the red one, and now I've got the orange one. And then I've got, I don't know how many of those Japanese hole punches. And then I've got my owl, which isn't going anywhere because I love that. And then I've got the die for my press, which is a piece of crap. I bought a needlepoint punch on Amazon, and all it does is push through the layers. It doesn't actually cut a hole, it just punctures. So that's a pain in the butt, and I never use it. So in my opinion, when you're working with vinyl, don't use a hole punch that only punches. You want it to actually, or that only punctures. You want it to actually punch through the vinyl. Except for an owl. An owl is universal. And I still have to change my batteries, dang it. I suppose I could have also pinched this closed. Where's my... Whoops. Yeah, I think for something like that, it's pretty to look at, but functionally not ideal, at least not for me. Oh, come on. All right, so these are not swivelers, so they have to go on a specific way. Not as backwards. I think. Yep, there we go. God, those are just so cool. If anybody is interested, I got these at Wawak. When I saw that they had them, I was like, mine. Thanks. So I got a whole bunch of them. So I think what I'm going to do when I pull the hardware off of this strap is first I'm going to move the hardware over to the new strap. But also, I think I'm going to cut it down and I'll pop a wristlet strap or key fob in the box for you with it, Annie. Oh God, I can imagine leather makers or leather workers have some really cool tools. I often find myself watching leather videos, wondering Can I use that? Because I want to buy their tools just because I'm really curious about their glue, because I see a lot of leather workers using, like, they'll spread their glue onto one piece and then they'll spread it on another piece, and the whole time they're touching the glued surface with their bare hands, but their hands aren't getting tacky. And I need to know what this magic is, why their hands aren't getting covered in glue. And then I need to find out what glue they're using because I want it. So there it is, or at least that's what it's going to look like, the final one. See, I'll show you the wonky stitching that I'm not cool with. So it's nice and even here and here, but then the strap veered away towards the side, away from the needle for a few seconds. And I mean, everything else is consistent, but that one spot, and it's just too noticeable for me. So from here to about here, that is going to go into my strap scrap bin for when I need to test stitch length and stuff. And then the rest of it will be turned into like key fobs. Contact cement, is that tacky? Because from what I remember, it was that brown bottle or a clear bottle with a red rubbery top on it that I used to use in elementary school. But I remember it being tacky. I have no idea. I'll have to check, look into it a bit. Okay, I think that's it. I'm gonna go mess with my cylinder arm and see if it's gonna behave for me tonight, and if it is, then I will be top stitching the bag tonight. And if it's not working, then I'm gonna call it a night, and then when I get up early, I'm going to do a little bit of maintenance on it, make sure I can get the stitches working properly, then I'll top stitch it. So, but this is it for my live, and this time I've only been on for an hour and a half, which is just 3 hours shy of last night. I'm gonna be working here and there on a couple of tidbit videos that that I've been plotting for a while. I've got some new tools that I want to share, some comparisons. I still have to refilm the how to do a straight edge with all of my tools kind of a thing for like top stitching and straps and doing all that fun stuff. So we'll see if I manage to crank any of those out. But if I go radio silent again, it is because I am just finishing up stuff before my pattern goes off to the testers. I have one repair, which I'm doing for a family member who I never agreed to the repair, but she sent the bag to me anyways. I didn't make the bag, but she wants me to replace the handles, so yay. And then I've got 2 more customs that I have to do, but they are not my typical stuff, so I will not be putting pictures of them out or anything like that. And then the pattern and then recap the Narcissist with my testers. And once those things are done, my time is 100% open. And I will be then devoting time to getting my customs page revamped on my website, and then probably back to making more patterns since I have dozens of them to do. So thanks for hanging out tonight, and I'm glad you guys enjoyed watching me work on this bag. It was fun. I definitely like the overall design that Annie picked out, so it's gonna be a sad day when this one goes bye-bye. But I will make more. I always make more. And I will try to do more lives. So everybody have a good night. Make sure you get sleep at some point.